Alright guys, in this video I'm going to do an audit of a Google ad and landing page that I came across to give you an example of how I would improve it, and then hopefully that will give you some ideas of how you can improve your Google ads and your landing pages as well. So basically what I did is I just went to Google and just searched a keyword to just see what I can find running at the moment, and I scrolled down the page and came across an ad that caught my attention. So it's actually by these guys here. However, this first ad I actually didn't click it because this one has the keywords in the headline. It's actually not too bad. But what I did do is I scrolled down, and when I got to the top of page 2, I noticed this ad, and this caught my attention because it had the law firm's name in the headline, and something about it just didn't look like it was completely optimized. So I clicked it just to see what the landing page would look like, and it took me to this landing page here. So there's actually quite a few things that can be optimized on this ad, and especially on this landing page, which I'm going to show you now in this video. So firstly, if we go to this particular ad, the first thing I noticed is that they have their firm name in the headline. And now typically speaking, that's usually just a waste of headline space. And the reason why is because people don't know who you are if they're not searching for your brand name. So in this case, someone searching family lawyer Sydney, they just want a family lawyer in Sydney. They don't know who you are yet. Otherwise they would have actually searched the brand keyword if they wanted you specifically. So with that being the case, having the firm name or the business name in the headline doesn't do anything to convince someone to click this ad specifically because they don't know who you are. So it means nothing to them. So because the headline is so valuable, it's the most important text. Usually it's the only text that anyone reads. It's the one that's the biggest font and everything. It stands out. You want to use this to give people an incentive to click this ad. So right now what is good is they've got the keyword family lawyer in here. So that is the same as what I searched, which is family lawyer. I would like to see the keyword Sydney in here as well. I think that would help just a little bit more solidify the fact that it's the correct thing. Like these guys have family lawyer Sydney. That would be better in this particular case. One other thing I would highly recommend in a case like this is to put some sort of incentive to click this ad. So you see the guys below them have free consult within 30 minutes. That's a pretty good incentive. You know you're going to get something and what you're getting before you've even clicked on this ad. That is going to get someone to click. I would almost bet you that this ad has probably got a pretty high click-through rate because of something like this. Whereas you see, if you compare this to just objectively looking at it from a potential, client's point of view or someone looking for a lawyer, which one are you more likely to click? Probably this one. I'd be willing to bet on it. So that's what I'm saying here. There's no incentive to click this ad. It's just got the keyword in there, but it doesn't actually say anything as to why you should use them specifically. Now, I also see that they don't seem to have any assets on this ad. Now, that could be just Google not displaying the assets. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But typically you want to make sure that you have assets in the ad as well. So that would be like site links, reviews, structured snippets, those kind of things. You want to make sure you have them in there. The phone number, definitely, so people can click the phone number from the ad. You'd want to have that as well. So you just make sure that you'd have all those in there. Now, one good point they do have here is that they have the keyword in the description, and you can see because they have this keyword, they got divorce as well. What's happening here is that they're bold, and so it stands out a little bit more than it would otherwise. So that is a good part of the ad. But where they would really see a massive increase in results is on the landing page. So when I clicked this ad, it took me to this landing page here. And now the issue you have here is that, first of all, the main headline, which is up here. I mean, you've got all of this here, which is, it's a little bit busy, first of all. And so you're not really sure what to look at because this kind of stands out the most to me visually. But the problem is this doesn't include any of the keywords I looked for. I searched family lawyer Sydney specifically, not divorce lawyer or separation lawyer. So I'm looking for the words family lawyer Sydney. That's typically how that works from the mind of the user. And so here, the words family lawyer don't stand out. There's also no mention of Sydney anywhere here. And all this is just very busy. And it's also not the most obvious, most prominent text on the page either. And so I didn't even read this when I first clicked on the page. I started scrolling immediately. And then once I came back, I actually noticed it. So that tells you that people are not really going to notice this headline anyway. And on top of that, this actually doesn't say anything. So if you objectively read it from a completely, let's say, unbiased standpoint, it says from separation to divorce to complex property settlements, complete focus on family law is what sets us apart. That's literally the exact same thing as every other law firm would say. So it actually doesn't say anything. It doesn't tell the people why they should use this particular law firm. It doesn't even really say what they do, because you would expect a family law firm to do separation, divorce. That's what a family lawyer does. So they're just basically stating the obvious and not really saying anything. So that headline basically does nothing to help get them leads in this particular case. And now if we scroll down, what happens is this whole page is just a listing of different services. You can see here, we can scroll down. down and you can just keep going, and then it's just this. So there's multiple problems with this. So first of all, nobody is going to read this text. Like, I didn't even read it, just skimming through it. Nobody is going to read it. They're going to skim through these headlines, and if none of these catch their eye, they're going to leave. And quite frankly, after like 3 scrolls, I think nobody would continue past this. It's just from a user experience point of view and from a capturing attention point of view, it's just not doing a very good job at keeping people interested and grabbing their attention, going, yes, this is the solution to my, family law problem. Now, the other problem you have is when you start reading this, it's just telling you what a divorce is. A divorce formally recognizes the end of a marriage. A divorce order is etc., etc. The process is this. It doesn't even talk about what this law firm does to help people with a divorce. People who searched this did not search what is a divorce. They searched for a family lawyer. So they're in a divorce, or they have a family law problem and they need the solution to that problem. So they don't need to be told what the problem is. They need to be told how is this law firm going to help them solve the problem. And so the issue here is that all of this is just telling them what the problem is. There's no mention of how this firm is going to help them whatsoever. And so we still have no incentive of why somebody should use this law firm on top of all the other law firms that are all heavily competing for this potential client, why they would go to this law firm. And now, as you scroll down, it's just listing out the different services, which is not bad in itself, but the way it's done is not good. And then the problem you have is you get to the bottom and there's just nothing. We don't know anything about this law firm. We don't know who they are. We haven't seen a single human face on this whole page, so you don't even know who you're working with. And by the way, that's a big tip. Human faces really humanize the business and make people far more incentivized to actually contact the business. So you always want to include a face where possible. Ideally, pictures of the firm or yourself or whoever it is. You want to have faces on the page, something, because it makes it far more personal. And so right here, we don't know anything about the firm aside from the fact that they're just talking about these various services, which we can only assume they actually offer. But unless you actually read all this text and only these one sentence here in each of these paragraphs actually say that they do it, it's not saying anything how they're actually going to help you. And then there's no reviews, so we don't have any reviews about the firm. We have no idea who they are or how good they are. We have no idea where they are. It still hasn't mentioned Sydney anywhere. It might not even be in Sydney, who knows, until you get down here and it's tiny text says it's in New South Wales. And then the only CTA on here is these little yellow buttons, and then when you click the button it opens a form. I have no idea why you would make the pop-up form instead of just putting the form on the page. There's no phone number. This phone number is not clickable. The only other phone number I saw is up here in the heading, which you can very easily miss because you can see it doesn't stand out and it's very small. As soon as you start scrolling, it's gone. And I know from experience that people do phone law firms. So you definitely want to have a phone number on here. So you can see that there's just so many issues here that I guarantee you that the conversion rate on this page is not very high. And this is the reason why, what I've just lined out in this video. So that is where I would start with doing this. And just by improving this and using the template that I have made a video on, I'm going to put a link above. I have a video on the template of a high converting landing page. I have used that template over and over again with law firms and other businesses to get extremely high conversion rates. I'm currently running a Google Ads campaign for another family law firm in another city, and they're getting conversion rates of about 10 to 15% consistently over the last 6 months on that specific landing page for family lawyer keywords. Very similar to what these guys are trying to offer as well, because of the way I've structured the ads in the landing pages and how I'm describing them in this video. So I wanted to show you guys this example because I think this is a really good example of what people get wrong typically with Google Ads and how you can improve it to get significantly better results, much lower cost per click, much lower cost per conversion. So you're going to get a lot more leads with much less ad spend, which allows you to scale much better and make a lot more money. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you'd like me to coach you on how to do Google Ads or SEO for your business for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. And if you'd like someone who actually knows what they're doing to do your Google Ads or SEO, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with us there. Catch you on the next one.